Hello and welcome to Talks with Teads. We're at the New York Auto Show today, and with me is Markus Hutchins. He's a Senior Director, Global Brand at Ford. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
And happy having you.
Yeah.
Let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to your current role at Ford.
Yeah. So I think of myself as an agency guy. Grew up in the agency world, having worked at places like Interbrand, RGA, AKQA. Then I made the transition to in-house brand side, working at Facebook. And interestingly, was there while we transitioned from Facebook to Meta, and then have had the opportunity to be at IBM, and now find myself leading global brand at Ford.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Good, great journey, and interesting journey. I mean, it reflects a little bit of how brands operate, right? And nowadays, so you led tech brands. What is the biggest tech industry communication principle or approach you brought to Ford, enabling them to speak to more like digital native customers and a new generation of customers?
Yeah, I think they're sort of twofold. One is, how does the role of the product itself manifest in the storytelling? How can you leverage those experiences to be pulled forward to share those with broader audiences? The next is, sure, we know we need to have scale for a mass brand like Ford, but at the same time, how can we continue that storytelling across all of those digital channels? So sure, scale allows you to be seen, but the story is really what allows you to be remembered. And so making sure that storyline is pulled through across all the touch points you have available to you.
And how do you manage that? Because I mean, bouncing between like, I don't know, 20, 30 touch points as a consumer on my customer journey, what are your principles to tell the story you were talking about?
Yeah, well, we actually are on an exciting journey of transformation internally at Ford, and just recently, at the end of last year, launched Ready, Set, Ford, a full global platform, the first global platform that Ford has had since 2012. So this is a moment where we've created a unified marketing platform that we can leverage across all of our tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, regardless if you're talking the US, Europe, South America. And this is something that we're working in partnership with our dealers to ensure that we have that alignment. So not only is that message coming from Ford, it's also coming from our creator network. It's also then coming from our dealers to really make sure that we're landing the plane on how we want to tell stories of passion, recognizing that, you know, these vehicles around here, none of them are boring. These are really sort of coming with a sharp point of view and capability first. You know, you looking at all these vehicles that we have behind us.
Yeah.
Every single one of these are truly capable vehicles. And a lot of that comes from the rigorous testing that we put through and the work that we do on the racing circuit. You know, one of the things I'm so excited about is what Ford does racing on more surfaces than any other OEM. And I think that comes to life regardless if you're talking about some of our off-road capabilities that we learned from Dakar or Baja to the on-road capabilities from the F1 tracks, Le Mans. So looking at Raptors over here and some Mustangs, some Bronco, a nice dusty Bronco, You're really seeing it come to life in everything we do.
So if we switch a little bit to the EV world we're all living in, how do you balance the heritage of the brand and the different models you have with like EV era expectations in terms of software, in terms of range and all that comes with EV?
Yeah, well, I think from a brand lens, we as a brand have always been about innovation. As far back, if you think about the Model T, the story of innovation is just another journey that we have to be going on. And I think for Ford, you know, you look at our EV portfolio, which we will continue to expand. This is something we're committed to, and also understanding what are the needs of those customers. So to your point around software, how are we using over-the-air updates to ensure that we're delivering against their expectations, their evolving expectations, right? Regardless of whatever component it is. So this is something we're committed to from an experience standpoint and also from a technology standpoint.
And talking about like the experience, what is the promise? You talked about a little bit about Ready, Set, Ford. What is the promise behind it, and how do you execute that? How should a shopper feel after their first exposure, and probably also if they're becoming a customer?
Yeah. So if you look at all the way from our tier 1 campaign work, the message we're really wanting to make sure that lands with people is that you're more capable than you think. And that came from an insight that we saw where, yes, we're living in this poly crisis that everyone wants to talk about, be it from the introduction of AI to politics to the challenges from global weather. But the reality is when you rely on yourself, you are far more capable than you think. And so how do we make sure that we allow people to feel that with the broader Ready, Set, Ford campaign? And then have that come to life with every product experience that they're going to have, regardless, again, if we're talking about a digital product or when they step into one of our vehicles.
So it's very customer centric in that way, right?
Absolutely. And that was a big shift that we made as it related to how do we want to think about a segmentation, less so from a strictly demographic perspective to how do we also start to lean into psychographics to really understand what are those things that are motivating those individuals, and then how can we deliver that to them, showing up where they are and telling the story that's going to resonate with them. So it's not about the vehicle, it's right about the customer.
Okay. And how do you, well, it's all about the brand as well, right? And the brand platform. So how do you like measure, or what are the right brand KPIs you take into account? If you look into how does it reflect the brand momentum you want to create with this platform going forward?
Okay, so I think one of the biggest pieces is brand momentum that we are looking for. There's a lot of different ways you can slice that. I think branded search volume is one of the best metrics to really understand how are you being not only relevant to your customers, sort of differentiated, you're being the brand that people are seeking out themselves. But at the same time, there's also brand attributes that we want to be focusing on: capability, passion, community, trust. Those really the core DNA of who we Ford are as a brand. So when you sort of look at that as a package, I think that's our mechanism for really understanding, hey, are we meeting our KPIs? Is this brand delivering on the expectations that we're hoping for our customers?
And one final question. So if we look out like 5 years, what is the biggest challenge facing global brands in automotive? So what is keeping you up at night looking forward?
Yeah, the easy answer, but the right answer is AI. So how are we leveraging the technology that's available to us in the most effective manner so that we can cultivate the relationships with our customers as best that we possibly can? How do we meet them where they are with the information that they need and deliver that in a tailored manner that they feel like is exciting and engaging and they want to stay loyal? And so how do we also do that, not just through point of purchase, but also after the fact? How are we continuing that relationship so that they feel like this is truly something that they're building along with us? And knowing that AI is going to be a significant portion of contributing to this change that we will see over the course of the next 5 years, how do we deploy that in an efficient manner, as well as sort of managing privacy concerns and delivering it in a way that feels right to the customer?
Markus, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best with your new platform and with the New York Auto Show. And thank you for having us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.